Hi everyone, it's Linnea for LDRS Creative. Today we're going to take a look at the set of two mini slimline die sets from HSN. I'm going to show you the pieces that are included in the die sets, as well as how to cut a card base and decorate a quick card. So there are two die sets in this set, the Elegant Stitched Mini Slimline die set and the Scalloped Stitched Mini Slimline die set. Both of these sets have similar pieces but are quite unique because you can use the largest die in the set to create a shaped mini slimline card. I think that's best demonstrated on the Elegant Stitched Mini Slimline die set. So I'm going to show you these three pieces. These are the three largest pieces in the die set, and you'll see that there are two inner dies that you can use to create elegant stitched layers to your mini slimline card, as well as the largest outer die has a cut line on three of the edges, the two short sides and one of the long sides. But then the fourth side, one of the long sides, has a flat edge. It doesn't have a cutting blade on it. And that's intentional so that you can layer this over a piece of folded cardstock and quickly and easily create a card base that's shaped. There are also multiple stacking inner pieces as well as some smaller label dies that you can use to accent your cards. The Scalloped Stitched Mini Slimline die set has similar dies with those two inner pieces used for layering, and then that largest outer die with three cutting blades and one flat side to create a shaped mini slimline card base. I've gathered some supplies. I have some pattern paper to use for my layers and a piece of solid cardstock that I will demonstrate cutting a mini slimline card base. My piece of cardstock happens to be 8.5 by 11, but you'll see in a moment that I cut that down. As a card maker, sometimes it's hard to remember how large you need to cut your cardstock and where you need to score and fold it to create a card base. So these mini slimline dies from HSN and LDRS Creative take the guesswork and the measuring out of everything. I've used the largest die from the Elegant Stitched Mini Slimline die set as a guideline for me to know how large to cut my cardstock. I used scissors. You could use a paper trimmer, but I had scissors handy, and since this doesn't require any precise measuring, scissors were just fine. Then I went and folded my cardstock in half, and I'm going to place that largest die onto my folded piece of cardstock with the flat edge hanging up off of the side of the folded edge of my cardstock. Remember that this die has cutting blades on three sides, the two short ends, and the side that's closest to me. That other side does not have a cutting edge and it's flat. You can see here how I have put that right up against and slightly overhung that off the side of that folded edge of my cardstock. This is how we're going to create the card base. I'm running this through my die cutting machine. Remember to follow your cutting machine manufacturer's instructions for cutting with wafer thin dies. This die will have no problem cutting through both layers of cardstock. I'm going to carefully remove my folded cardstock piece, and here you can see I have a perfectly shaped mini slimline card. It was very quick and very easy to make, and I didn't have to remember any exact measurements or score lines to create this card. I've taken those pattern papers I showed you at the beginning of the video, and I've used those two inner dies to cut card toppers for my card. Notice how these are perfectly shaped to layer onto that Elegant Stitched Mini Slimline die. That's the beauty of these die sets. You're going to have a shaped card base and then shaped card toppers. I'm going to use some liquid adhesive to adhere these pieces together, but you can always use whatever adhesive you have in your crafty stash. I just like the liquid adhesive so that I can wiggle them around a little bit and make sure that they are layered and spaced perfectly, as you can see here. Then I will adhere those layered toppers onto my card base and continue to decorate my card. Now remember, in those die sets, there were extra dies on the inside that you can use to create some cut cardstock pieces or pattern paper pieces to add focal points to your card. On the right side of my screen, you'll see that I used both of those label type dies that are at the bottom of the Elegant Stitched Mini Slimline die set. I cut the background from some pink cardstock to match my card base, and the layering one from some pattern paper that's going to match that green that's on my top topper. I have some pieces of ephemera that I'm going to use to die cut my card. These coordinate with those beautiful, lovely watercolor pattern papers that I used on my card. I'm going to arrange them how I want and then add them to my card using a mixture of dimensional and liquid adhesive. Remember that you can use whatever embellishments, stamps, ink blending even, to decorate your card that you have in your stash at home. Let's take a look at my finished card using the Elegant Stitched Mini Slimline die set. I love how this card has that beautiful shaped card base. And remember, even though I demonstrated with the Elegant Stitched Mini Slimline die set, the Scalloped Stitched Mini Slimline die set works the exact same way. Here you can see I've made a card, but instead of using a solid colored cardstock, I cut my card base from pattern paper, and I used those inner layering topper dies to create a white border and then a matching pattern paper. I even cut a piece of white cardstock using that innermost die to put on the inside of my card so that I had somewhere to write my message. I hope that this video demonstrates how quick and easy these dies are to create some mini slimline cards. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you very soon. Bye!